Right. Hey everyone, I'm Klloo. So, a little bit of a different one today. So, from time to time, I am asked where I get my digital assets, right? When it comes to putting stuff together for Flesh and Blood. Now, obviously, the prime place to start is the Flesh and Blood website. However, not everything is necessarily where you think it might be. Now, before we get into that, we are just going to scroll right down to the bottom, take a quick look-see at the licensed asset usage. And basically, this is the policy that governs how you can utilize the digital assets, right, us and other stuff from LSS and the Flesh and Blood website for your own means, right, content creation, stuff like that. Generally speaking, you're able to use it for content creation, but you obviously can't redistribute it or try to sell it for playmats or t-shirts or anything like that. So do bear that in mind, give this a look over, and yeah, stick to the rules because it is wonderful to see that we are allowed to use it in so many different ways that are usually tightly owned by X companies. So that is definitely beautiful. But with that aside, so how do we actually go about grabbing artwork? Well, nice and simple. If you click on retailers up the top here, you can go down to marketing assets. And this is generally the place where you'll find the majority of assets, right? So you can go through, you've got your general organized play assets, then you have all the different product pages, so the key artwork from said product for Super Slam, High Seas, etc. Right, you've got some older stuff, you've got all the initial artwork, the HD assets, the lore assets, playmat components, right? If you're ever looking for just the overlay for the different zones to stick on a playmat, these you can utilize. So if you have your own piece of artwork for a playmat, you can stick this on top and you're completely free to use it, right? Which is definitely beautiful. You've got logos and everything else you could probably need. You also have the IRA print to play deck if you want to print it and just play around with paper cards trying to get someone into the game. It's also a really nice way to start. But yeah, generally speaking, this is where you can get the majority of artwork. However, weirdly, Super Slam is the prime example for this, but generally speaking, right, if we click on High Seas, you have the key artwork. So for instance, for High Seas, it's the nice, beautiful boats with the treasure chests in both normal and necro, right? So yeah, usually you have the key artwork in this page, but for whatever reason, Super Slam is missing it, right? So it's here for the sales sheet, right? These aren't artworks, these are links to the pamphlets, right, about these sets. But yeah, so you might be wondering then, well, how do you get it? Where do you find it? Right, because it's not on this page. So another way I go about getting different assets is, for instance, if we go back to the home page, it is here beautifully in the background. But you can't just right-click and open the image, right? There's no good spot because it's all compiled, right, on the web page. I'm not going to feign that I know the technical jargon, right? This is basically just from my childhood where you go inspect element and you pretend like you know what's going on. But yeah, if you right-click, click inspect elements, you can then go to sources, and this has all the nice artwork, although I am blocking it. Let me get rid of me for a second. Right, so up here we have the nice, beautiful key artwork from Super Slam, and here we can right-click and we can open it as an image in a new tab, and then we can copy and paste it, right, and use it for our means. So that is the other way I go about getting X thing, right? So yeah, it is definitely useful, and you can do that with any asset that you find. Depending on where you click and how you click, you can just compile the whole web page and have all the sources available at once. But generally speaking, right, you have artwork like this that you can open in a different tab because it's just this still. But then you have the stuff where they've put their logos on top and the announcement, the release date, right? So for here, you do have to go inspect element to grab it, right? And the same can be done for instance, the little article boxes if you want, right? So for instance, a lot of these, again, are that laid website image jargon, right? So, for our rock, we could go inspect elements, and then we can try and find our rock. Here you go. This is basically all the ones available on this page, but you have, for instance, there's beautiful James White and our favorite cosplayer, right? And then you've got, where is that? There you go, right? The common equipment piece that I don't think is very good. I'm also blocking them. I'm just going to turn me off. Actually, you know what? I think I have me on the left, which is probably a little bit better at this point in time. Yeah, there we go, right? So, yeah. So you can use this to find all those little JPEGs of different artwork if you can't find it in X place, right? So, for instance, here's one of our rock, which you might be hard-pressed to find other places, although from time to time, obviously, miscellaneous artwork does appear in X article, and you can do the same thing. You grab it from there. So, for instance, if we go all the way back to the High Seas little lore bits, right? So, for instance, for our beautiful Marlin, we have our Gold Kiss rum. So nice and simple with that one. Just open the image in a separate tab or even copy the image, right? And some of the harpoons. So yeah, that's just the means that I go through, right? When I'm looking for X artwork. And there's a few other places that you can obviously look. So for instance, we can go to our heroes and there's little pages about them. So you've got the animated assets, if you've ever seen X person use them, right? So for instance, if we click on Syndra. We have a nice, beautiful animated, right, artwork for Syndra. So this is nice and simple. You can open the video in a new tab. You can save the video, copy the video, and there you have Syndra animated, and will be without the text. You can also do video frames. And then we've got the cards down the bottom as well, which might as well be a nice little tangent to the actual card database for LSS. Obviously, you still have Fabric for the majority of places, but I think we're getting to the point where some cards do appear a little bit earlier, right, on the Flesh and Blood database over Fabric. So, what's a new one? Palm. Yeah, there you go, in the palm of your hands, right? And then Standing Ovation as well. I think Standing Ovation is not here yet. But yeah, so you can use that for cards. You can use the articles and different tabs, right? Explore the website. That's basically the gist of this, right? So you've got your heroes, the majority of them animated, the early ones, not so much, unfortunately. You've got the different lore assets in different places, right? Depending on the region. You've got the story assets, you've got the different articles. So these usually have a nice, juicy amount of artwork in them as well, right? So we've got Jarl, we've got Merging Avalanche, I think. Don't know what this one is, right? But yeah, although it would be nice, obviously, if it was all compiled in one section, they're giving us a lot to pick from. So nice and simple. Explore. But the general easy place to go is the marketing assets under retailers. That will be the majority of artwork that has all the heroes. And again, the majority of key artwork, for whatever reason, the little crowd cheering is not in Super Slam yet, hopefully, right? So same can be said for all the different products. All the Armory decks are here with their nice little logos and Smash Palace. Heroes if you want the animated hero assets, right? So lore, heroes, and then articles if you want. Or, again, anything you see on any page, just give it a right click, right? If you can right click, open the image, do so. If you can't, inspect the element and look at the page source, right? I could probably click page source and that probably, nope, don't do that. Unless you know what you're doing, then do that. But you can see all the links to the images as well, right, through this. So, for instance, we have all the different image assets as I'm looking at ones that don't look like images, right? So, yeah, go nuts. Right click. That's the name of the game, right? And pick it apart, find the stuff you want, and use it for whatever purposes you want within legal reason, right? But enjoy. So, yeah, hopefully that helps out, right? Fun. I do really like this background too. I wish it was easier to get. Took me a little while to find, more than I'd like to admit. But hope you enjoyed. Hopefully that's helpful. Yeah.